time zone to everyone. We are back with a track mode. If this is your first time in, welcome. Lady Arcaders is an all-women gaming collective. We welcome all women in gaming, speedrunners, developers, and casual fans alike. In addition to our cozy private community, we run weekly showcases on our Twitch channel, as well as other events throughout the year. Did you catch our in-person marathon last weekend? Lady Arcaders Out of Bound to Toronto was a fantastic time, showcasing some amazing women and femmes in all their gaming glory. Do you want to catch up on everything that happened? We are working our hardest to get those videos out to you. Check out Lady Arcaders YouTube for them soon. And oh, they're finally here, performing for you. If you know the words, you can join in too. Put your hands together if you wanna clap as we take you through this amazing speedrun showcase. We have got an awesome one coming at you today with DK64 Any Percent, all keys, with an intro story glitch exhibition. Personally, I have been fighting my way through DK64 casually, so I'm looking forward to watching someone take this one down. AD, let's see this amazing game.
Yeah, I'm Ad129. Is we're going to be using cheats. The reason for this is it is allowed for the category, and then another thing is it's also marathon safe because we're doing one glitch at the very beginning, which is very RNG heavy, and so having cheats on makes that very easy. Yeah, and so this is DK64. I'll get into the run more as we get into it. But yeah, I think we're ready to begin in 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, so first things first is, what is all keys? So all keys is the version of all bosses in this game, except not really. It's really weird to describe. Basically, the way this game works is to unlock a new level, you need to beat different bosses. And once you defeat that, like a boss in one level, you unlock a key, which opens up a new area. And so the way we use that to our advantage is in a normal any percent speedrun, we only need to get 2 keys. It's very not like long. And so in this category, we're basically having to collect every single key using very interesting routing to try to get to those as fast as possible. And so the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be unlocking some moves that are very useful. So we're going to only be doing 3 out of these barrels at the beginning. The first one we're doing is swim. Here, we're basically learning how to swim. So each of these barrels have different objectives. So the first one here is just swim to the bottom of the barrel, get this little coin, and you're done. Well done.
Well done.
All right, so this next one
in this game is a thing.
Yeah. This next one is the orange barrel. Basically, there are 5 oranges. Oh wait, I forget. I have infinite. I can do that. So in having the infinite cheat or like all the cheats, you can do these minigames really quickly. You're about to see it with this barrel one. We're not gonna beat it the intentional way. Here we learn how to throw barrels, and so what we can do is just zoom in, shoot 5 oranges, and we're done because it still has the same objective from the previous area or the like minigame. So yeah. That last one is the vine barrel. We're actually going to skip it for now for a reason we're going to come back to later. And so we're going to do our first glitch here. We're going to do a thing called swim through vertical walls. Yeah. If you've ever heard the phrase, walls don't exist in this game, it's very true. So that allows us to escape early and not needing to get the Simian Slam, which is required to hit a switch and to get into this area, the DK Isles. We cannot unlock the Simian Slam until we beat that 4th barrel and talk to Cranky again, and so leaving here early and doing all that routing is very useful. We're going to do another glitch here called Swim Through Shores. Just mashing B while on a shore and it'll just clip us out of bounds. And we're able to get into the Banana Fairy Isle as DK, which we're normally not allowed to do. You're only supposed to be here with Tiny. The reason we get in here early is to get a camera. This is very useful for the route that I'm doing because there's a glitch that we can use the camera that will help us get out of bounds. I'll get into that when we get to that point of the run. But for now, it's very useful. So yeah, a lot of glitches already. We're not even like 2-3 minutes in, and we already have 2 big game-breaking glitches. So
this is a well-constructed game.
yes. All right. So now this is where the sequence breaking part of the run begins. And so what we're going to do first is we're going to do a glitch here called Moon Kick. Basically, we cancel a aerial attack. I messed it up right there. Let me try that one more time. Actually, I'm going to go this way. This way is much more scenic. Basically, we're canceling DK's aerial attack with a ground attack at the same time, basically. And so it just like tricks the game into us floating. This next trick, this is why we need infinite oranges, is a clip into this door. As you can see, that's a door. We can get into that door. However, nice, second try. So the way the game is programmed, on the N64 version, this also works on the Wii U version, but very like less useful, is when there's a natural amount of lag or an artificial amount of lag, the way Rare programmed the game to work is the more lag there is, the more speed you gain. And so if we generate lag purposefully, we're basically able to clip out of bounds very easily. And so that's where we use that to get into Angry Aztec, which is actually the second level. We're not entering Jungle Japes, which is the first level, until like the end of the run. So yeah, the sequence breaking in this game is very, very, very significant. Nice. Oh, nice. Another one. This one skips a cutscene.
I have been so frustrated with this game, and I am just watching you just absolutely destroy this. There's going to be much sounds of me sputtering through this entire showcase.
Yep.
Because just what?
This is Travenskov. This is where we enter bosses. So those
eat small bananas?
Nope,
no,
you don't.
No,
nope.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. So this is the second fight, Dogadon. Normally he has the second key. However, if you played through this game before, you might realize that this boss actually comes back in Fungi Forest, which is the 5th level. So I'm wondering if we can do something about that. So I'm going to focus for a bit. This trick is a little bit precise. So we're just going to be fighting this boss for the first phase like this. Grab this barrel. Stand right here. Should work. There we go. So that kills him instantly. That's a key. That's our first key. You might realize I'm very big. So what actually happened is that key I just collected was actually the 5th key, not the 2nd key. So the way that works is in Fungi Forest, the way you would normally fight that boss is you would do it as Chunky, use Hunky Chunky to get big, and then fight him that way. And so for some odd reason, no one knows why this happens. Like our top scientists of the DK64 community, we don't know why this happens. But if you damage yourself at the same frame that he takes damage, it just thinks that it's an insta kill and just will think it's the fungi death instead of the Aztec death. And so that's why DK got so big. That's why we're able to collect the 5th key.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, so you're DK, but you're in Hunky Chunky mode. Okay.
Yep.
That's wild. Okay.
So yeah, and then having that, like, technically we didn't defeat the boss, and so that's why we're able to refight him. And so that's why we're able to just go back in and get the 2nd key, because we're already here. Might as well get it. We don't have to come back here afterwards. We'll get into why we don't have to come back afterwards later into the run after this segment. Okay, I should be careful, actually. So Health is a very hard thing to route sometimes. Okay, I gotta actually like log in. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So at the beginning of the game, you have one melon, which have four. You're allowed 4 hits. Later on, with intro sword glitch, which we'll get into later, we'll reset the console, by the way, because that's where if we leave through the normal way, we soft lock. So resetting, the game saves every collectible, so we're just able to reset like that. But yeah, you'll see later with intro sword glitch that we won't maintain the 1 melon upgrade for the end of the run. Yep. Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be seeing my favorite character in the game, Kalumzi. So, obviously, turn on story skip. We're not going to be needing the infinite oranges for now. We'll be coming back to those later, but for now, we don't really need them. So, now we're just going to be traveling to Kalumzi's Isle, where we're going to be putting in our first key. So, here. Alright. And then this is Kalumzi. Basically, Kalumzi is the person you turn in all the keys that you collect, and Kalumzi opens up every level that is attached to whatever key requirement. So, the first cutscene is him opening up Jungle Japes, and so we'll be seeing that cutscene very soon. Normally in this route, you only see him twice. And again, the reason for that is in the way the game is programmed, and it's how any percent works, is you only need to collect 2 keys to beat the game, really. So the 3rd level, Frantic Factory, has the 3rd key, obviously. The reason for it not being really useful in the eye of the programmers is because Angry Aztec actually opens up 2 levels. It opens up the Frantic Factory and then Gloomy Galleon. And so Gloomy Galleon opens up Fungi Forest, which is next. So key 3 has no purpose. And so once you get all the keys, the game will think that if you have the 8th key, you have every other key before it. But Rare decided to add a little safety of, what if they don't? Let's make the third key required. Not thinking that their game is just that broken, and so we're just able to just collect only 2 keys in the true any percent runs. But yeah, we have just now opened Creepy Castle. This is the only level that we can't enter as early as from after leaving the training area, because that rock that you saw Kalumzi break. Basically, that rock hides the cannon that gets us in here, but that cannon isn't loaded until we unlock it with the 5th key. It's very weird.
Now you're just avoiding the smalls on purpose because you don't need them.
Yep.
Now you're taunting me as someone who must collect them. How dare.
Yep. Alright, this is a scary part, because, platforming is hard in a collectathon type run. Alright.
Also, the camera is not wonderful.
Alright. There we go. So now, this is where the game is gonna fully break open. So we're gonna go into this level, and this is going to be King Cutout. The 7th boss of the game. The way this boss works is you are cycling through all 5 Kongs. Because you're shooting cannons, you're going to be shooting yourself at the cutout with the cannons. And so you have 5 chances to basically hit them all right and not miss. And so by this point in a normal playthrough, you should have all the Kongs, theoretically. However, you might have noticed I'm here very early and I have none of the Kongs unlocked except for DK. So what does the game do about this? So let me get chunky first. We're going to leave this fight. We're going to enter a tag barrel. we have now officially unlocked Chunky.
Okay.
Yep. And then also that's another glitch that is very useful later on. That's called fall through vertical walls. We basically use that camera I was talking about earlier to give us enough height, zoom in mid-air, and then be able to fall through a wall. Because the way walls work in this game, and this is now a great time for me to explain it while we're doing this boss, is the way walls work is there's the normal 360 degrees. However, if you zoom in, for some odd reason, the camera will just go beyond 360, and it will just allow you to go through any wall. That is like it only works on north-facing walls. So it's like not all like you can't clip through every wall. It has to be north face. So like this wall I'm looking at right now, where he's shooting at right now, that is north. The way I know that is because of the cobwebs. You memorize a lot of visual cues in this game. So yeah, the way this fight works, by the way, before I keep talking about how this game is more broken than it needs to be, is there are 3 phases. Each phase you need to hit them 3 times with the cannon. First phase, very easy. You just go to wherever it lights up at. The next part is, or the next phase, there are two versions of him. One is shadowed, one of them is the real one. We have to shoot at the real one. If we shoot at the shadow one, it will just count as a miss, and so that won't be good. So, this is perfect to show this off, probably. Oh, actually, yeah. So this is a way we can switch Kongs very easily. If we get lucky and we get a north-facing one, what we can do is we can swim out of bounds, and it'll just count as a death, and so now we're Tiny Kong.
That is the best Kong, by the way.
Very true. Makes this whole category possible, having Tiny. Alright, so we're gonna be, yep, here. Alright, so that's the end of the second phase. This final phase is the hardest.
Yes, how does this phase work? This is where I'm stuck.
Yes, so the way this phase works is it's completely random where he spawns. I'll preface it by that. The way you do this fight is he cycles in a circle with the cannons, and he will loop back doing an extra one. And so the way you would do this fight, or this one, is you would have to basically time it. So like I hear one, and then I wait about like a second and a half or so before he switches, and then I enter the cannon, and it should work. I've had multiple times where I don't go in and I lose a Kong, which I would desperately need in like the routing, because the routing with doing this verse is very, very specific. Especially in this category, we're only saving 2 Kongs really. I will be saying that. So Chunky and Tiny are the only Kongs we're saving. There we go. All right, that's the end of the fight. Awesome.
Okay.
So
I am taking like literal, very detailed notes right now because very much stuck on this fight. This has been not a fun place for me.
Yeah. All right. So now that we're done, that's our 5th key. And then now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing intro story glitch. We'll get into that once I get this key, because we still have a bit to do. Unless I get a pause exit. Pause exits while grabbing an item is frame perfect, but if I'm able to get it, that saves a lot of time. Okay, yeah. It's very hard, like I said. Basically, what would happen is you pause the game, and the way you know you got it is if you hear the Donkey Kong sound effect. Alright, so a little bit of a detour for now, because we technically saved Tiny, but we're playing as her, but really we haven't unlocked her until we enter the tag barrels. That's when it's fully locked in that, oh, you have unlocked this Kong. So just like that, save, reset.
Okay.
So yeah, basically the next glitch we're gonna be doing, this is what defines DK64 speedrunning. Because it's just so useful for us that if we literally don't use it, it adds, like, in this category, probably an extra 20 to 30 minutes. So, firstly, what we're going to be doing, story skip, we're going to add cheats, and And then now what we're going to do is we're going to do intro story glitch. The way this works, nice first try. We're going to basically enter that intro story because we're able to watch every single cutscene in the game within that main menu. And so what we're going to be doing is around 1 to 2 frames once that blue screen that you saw appears, you're able to cancel out of it, and the game thinks that we're still in it while maintaining our like playthrough. And so we're technically inside watching the intro story while doing different things. So for now it's not useful until we reach a certain time. So for now I'm like completing the training barrels first of all, just so we have every move that we need for this. And so the thing that's really scary about this trick is there are 6 checkpoints in time that you have to make sure you're aware of. The first one's 55 seconds, which has just passed. The next one, which is where we're going to be kind of stopping what we're doing in this gameplay area, is 1 minute and 26 seconds. The reason for this is a transition within the intro story that the game will just like load you into a different cutscene if you load another cutscene in any area. And so I'm waiting until a specific point on my timer to cancel out and quit the game. So then we'll see the intro story, but we're able to cancel out of it, and we'll still maintain the intro story cutscene. It's very complicated. I'm not good at explaining this, but basically, game is broken. But yeah, so now this is where we can do a lot of things that will help us in the run. So firstly, cancel this cutscene. I'm holding A because this could load you into the intro story. We're gonna observe our file. So now any data that we do within this main menu will be transferred into that file. And so what we're going to be doing is, this is the visual warning, by the way. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. This is a little bit of flashing lights for a bit. Yeah, so we're going to be watching all the boss intro cutscenes. Because like I said, it's basically all bosses. We're going to be basically seeing all the bosses. So being able to skip these intro cutscenes for these bosses will save us a decent amount of time. And so the way we're going to do this, we're just going to enter the fight. And then some of them we'll watch a little bit and it'll like take us out of it. And so what we're going to do is once it loads us out, we're going to enter the monkey smash. It will count as an instant tie for some reason. And then we're able to rewatch a cutscene because we'll see it after this cutscene. But if it like instantly drags you out of the boss cutscene, it won't count. And so, since we have the 2nd key, 5th key, and the 7th key, those are the ones we ideally want to have this thing right here happen, where it just doesn't load a cutscene. When that thing happens, that's when we load Monkey Smash to cancel that out. Again, very complicated. I do what I read on the route. All right.
Well, that is some very, very complex menuing.
Yeah. Alright, just like that. And then now we're gonna do we're gonna play the jetpack cutscene. Oh, okay. 1 second. I guess I gotta do this one more time. Forget that it's weird sometimes. Maybe I was too fast. Sometimes if you do go too fast, it doesn't work. But we gotta go into jetpack for a bit. For about 15 seconds. We don't really have to do anything too massive in this game. Just wait around. So just watch me play for a bit. Right. There we go. Alright, so after 4 minutes, we're now waiting. This is the worst part of this glitch, this is completely RNG. There are random cutscenes that can load you into the file that we want to go into, or nothing happens, and we have to wait for another one to happen. This is just completely RNG based. That's, I believe, a good one. This should load me in any second, I believe. There we go. So now we're in the intro story. So now this is where the run takes a significant peak in terms of how scary it can get, because intro story has a lot of unfortunate side effects. The first one being we can no longer pause the game. The reason for that is because we're technically in the main menu still. And so we can't pause in the main menu. We can't pause here. Another thing that's unfortunate is the game no longer saves. And so if I hypothetically crash at any point, or if I soft lock anywhere, the run is basically dead. And so we don't want that to happen.
No.
But a very good side effect, 2 of them actually, is one, you saw I have 3 melons. So that's the highest melon upgrade in the game. But that's not really important for the other reason of we can't take damage anymore. Any damage that we quote unquote take, it won't like really hurt us. Like the melon count won't drop. And so that's a very good thing for us to have. And then the final good thing, and is the reason why we did all of that, all of those things, is we now have every move in the game.
I was about to say, I was like, wait, do you now have you now have ponytail twirl? When did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah. So now we're gonna be entering Hideout Helm. This is the final level in the game. Getting into the actual level early is very easy sometimes. I decided to not make it easy. It's okay. We can clip out of bounds through this specific seam like that. There we go. Okay, game decided to have a camera moment. And then now we're in Hideout Helm lobby. We do one more out of bounds here. Just like that. And now we're fully out of bounds. For context, we have 0 golden bananas, as it just showed there. We need 100 golden bananas to enter Hideout Helm. And so, being able to go out of bounds just allows us to kind of do that. Just get in early. So yeah, now we're in Hideout Helm. This is where a soft lock can happen. This is the only soft lock in the run. This is the scary part, quote unquote. So what we're going to be basically doing is, the first trick we're going to be doing after climbing those slopes is, we're going to do my most hated trick. It's called switch kick. This is a very non-consistent out of bounds. We're basically going to do a moon kick off of this switch, and the game will decide when we clip out of bounds. There's an actual reason why it doesn't let you. I don't know. The game just hates me. Either I get it first try, or I just don't get it at all. That is like the normal outcome of what just happened there. So there we go. I'll take some.
Donkey Kong, thank you.
There we go. All right, so now this is the scary part. First off, we need to maintain our height. If we go near that lava, we'll actually drop height, and so we don't want that. The next place, I'm trying to be safe about this. I'm trying to get a specific area loaded. This is the chunky area in Hideout Helm. We're trying to gain another height. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be really, really, really close inbounds. But there's like, you see this like little platform is slightly out of bounds. And so we're trying to still maintain our out of bounds while gaining that extra height. And so just like that. Okay. And then now this is another scary part. It's just completely maneuvering out of bounds. This is like the hardest part of this run, is just trying to maneuver out of bounds. Okay.
This is terrifying.
Like I'm using the lanky room as my visual to like guide me.
If you need to like not commentate, because this is actually terrifying.
There we go.
This is both terrifying and fascinating, because the camera in this game is frustrating. So watching you... Okay, hello, just popped up right out of the steering wheel there. Beautiful.
Yep.
But, like, the camera in this game has been one of my enemies.
Yeah.
And watching you navigate through that was beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, so normally when out of bounds in this area, there are 2 outcomes. One is more ideal. The first one is you void out. Basically, you just hit a void, and then it just puts you at the beginning of the level. That's the most ideal situation. If another situation is you can pop into the main area. That is the least ideal, because at that point you have to do a couple precise things. If you have infinite oranges, you can do a clip out of bounds with the oranges like we've seen before. Not consistent. Or we do one of those camera things with Chunky, which I do not know which walls allow it. And so it's not ideal to clip in bounds, is what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. But thankfully we got it. Now we're just trying to do a clip here. This is for some reason taking so long. It's called terminal clip. Trying to, just like that. There we go. All right. So yeah, go here. And now this is basically, there's a lot of requirements to get to this point of the run. This is where the 8th key is. You need 4 battle crowns overall. You need the Nintendo and Rareware coin, which are infamously hard to get. You need to complete this entire like the area that I just completely skipped, just to get this one key. It's very, very not easy to get this key. So we just skipped all of those requirements. And also, since we can't pause the game, we can't leave the area until we do one of those camera tricks to clip out of bounds, and then we do one more to get out of here. A side effect of intro story glitch, by the way, of Hideout Helm is that you may have noticed there's no timer. The reason for that is because it technically loaded into the what's called, like, a different area of the of a Hideout Helm map. So it technically, yeah, it's weird. Intro story glitch messes this game up a lot. All right, so we're gonna do one more here. We have a couple more coming. So another clip. I'm getting these really quickly, which I'm really happy about. These are like really hard to do. You have to do like a really quick left right or up down motion to get a skid, and then you, as you get the skid, you press jump at the same time, so you get that like jump and skid. And then as you're doing that, you have to pull out your camera at the peak of the height, and then leave the camera immediately, and then go forward to clip. It's a lot of, it's very technical.
That's a lot of inputs. That's
yeah,
very technical.
Yeah, and this is the easy version of this type of skip. There's a skip there's a version of clipping out of bounds that is way more harder, because it's a triple frame perfect clip out of bounds. Because basically the way that one works is called frame walking. You would do you do a 1 frame up, 1 frame down, 1 frame up with a zoom in the middle. If that sounds very complicated, it is, because I can't do them.
That sounds near impossible.
Yeah, and
no, thank you.
And it's used everywhere in every single category. So, like, the gold standard of learning the speedrun is if you can do frame walks consistently, you're basically going to be a top runner. Also, that's another out of bounds called a fall clip. Basically, walls, when falling down on them, basically they have this like 1 pixel area where you're out of bounds, and so you're able to like kind of use your camera to like help guide you to that 1 pixel. And so that's why I was able to clip into this boss very easily. Anyways, we're now into Mad Jack. Okay.
I hate Mad Jack.
So the way Mad Jack works, there are 2 sub phases within 5 phases. The first sub-phase of the fight is him trying to chase you around. These are all predetermined in terms of how many he will jump. So the first phase is 9, the next phase will be 11, the next one will be 12, 13, and then 14. The next sub-phase will be his attack, and then you trying to get an attack on him. So you see there are 2 different colors, there's white and blue. Whichever one he is standing on, a switch will spawn of both white and blue. You have to hit the corresponding one, and if you hit the wrong one, it will basically shock Tiny instead. So just like that. And so you do this for the first 3, and then when we get to the 3rd one, I'll explain what happens. Because there's a skip to it if I get lucky. But yeah, the switch placements are completely RNG. You literally do not know where they spawn. If you heard me get a little bit upset of the first placement of the...
Yeah, that first one was extremely rude. Sorry. I have Mad Jack trauma. Like, this boss fight, I was on the struggle bus for all the way across the yeah, that's fair. That's fair. DK64, you're a fair game time at times.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I got in time. I got in time.
That was beautiful. I would not have made that.
Yeah. Thankfully, casually in this level, you unlock Ponytail Twirl, which is why you're able to do this fight. You can cover long distances because you can cross these corners, and doing the corners, especially in these final 2 phases, are very useful. Because the way this phase works now, the last 2, is he will just directly follow you instead of going in a square motion. Ooh, I might be able to get the skip. Hold on. Yes, that should be it. Okay, awesome. Okay, so
That was nice. Okay.
so basically what happened there, he shoots lasers on his final phase, and there's like a little intro to it. But if you hit the switch as he's like doing the cutscene, it'll just skip it. And so I got it there. That's very awesome. Again, completely RNG. But yeah, now we're on the final phase. Final phase, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go invisible, because clearly being visible is not helping. It doesn't help that all these light up as he lands on them. And plus we can see like the little sparkle thing. Alright, so we're gonna go here. Hopefully he hits that one. Yep, there we go. Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Oh,
that's so fair.
Thank you, Mad Jack. You're a fantastic... I was gonna say you're a fantastic human being, but you're a fantastic Kremlin in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, hitboxes in this game are not fun sometimes. That is a very clear example of why. Alright, so hopefully it should be on another blue or white. I actually don't know. Okay. Again, placements are not in my favor. Okay.
Thank you.
So now we're gonna wait here until this one, just so he shoots it on that one, so we're able to hit this one.
Very nice.
There we go. That's Mad Jack.
That was honestly very good, because I struggled on that for longer than I really would like to admit.
Yeah.
And I know you have lots of practice, but that this is such an RNG heavy fight.
Yeah.
It is really, really hard to get a good fast Mad Jack.
Yeah. So yeah, I did this as Tiny. You can actually do this fight with every Kong, with DK being the second most popular, for the reason of, in the true any percent, where you literally only save one Kong and it's just DK, you only do Mad Jack as DK, and so I'm also really good at DK Mad Jack, thankfully, but it's another thing you have to like. Oh, if I'm learning this game, that's another thing I have to get used to, is Mad Jack being Mad Jack with the fact of, oh,
how would you even do that?
DK's kicks are long enough where you're able to like barely get to it.
No, I don't like that. I am not a fan of that as a concept. I'm not a fan of that.
Yep. Alright, so now we're going to be turning in keys. Like I said, we only need 2 keys to beat the game, and so we're going to be turning in that 8th key, which is turned in easily, and then the 3rd key, which it's not going to be immediate, it's going to open the 2nd key. Because the way the key order works in this game is so wonky. It doesn't make sense, because as you saw, I opened the 8th key, and then it just goes to 2, and it's probably going to go to like a different one. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's probably gonna open 7, honestly, knowing the way the game doesn't like the order. But yeah, a really weird thing that happens with the 8th key, funnily enough, is you can actually get a fake key where the key doesn't load. Yeah, I knew it. 7th key. Basically, a fake key used to be an anomaly to like old DK64 speedrunning, because like people would get the 8th key and then like it would not turn in, like it would just not be in your in the slot, and so like many runs were lost to it. The reason that it is a consistent thing to collect now is because people realize that if you remember how that room looked, there was a window and then a door. If you look at both of those things while you are like watching the cutscene, or if you like skip the dance, what will happen is it will actually just give it to you. And so like there is like some requirement that requires you to like look at those 2 things. It's so weird. Thankfully we know why a fake key can happen, and so it like almost like never happens in modern speedruns, but like it's the fact that something like that exists is pretty scary sometimes. Because you could just like not be focusing sometimes, and like, oh, okay, I just got a fake key. That's so awesome. I have to redo Hideout Helm. Yeah. So now we're in Gloomy Galleon. We have 3 more keys to collect. Very, very shocking to think we're almost done. So we have 3 more bosses left. The first one is Pup Toss, which is what we're about to see, and then the final boss, before the actual final boss, it will be Armadillo. And so we're gonna be seeing 2 other bosses that are not K. Rool. But yeah, here we're gonna be going to this little Trough and Scoff right here. We just got to go to the quickest one. And so what we're going to be doing is we're actually not going to be doing this fight as DK. We're going to be doing it as a different Kong. And the reason for that is because there's a minigame in Gloomy Galleon called, it's a race, basically. And so DK's speed on this boat is capped. And so every other Kong doesn't have a race like this, and so their speed is not capped. Or there is a cap, but it's much higher. So you're able to go much faster. Holes. And so doing this boss as DK is very slow.
This boss in general is very slow. How are you moving the boat so well?
Yeah.
That boat is not well designed or programmed.
Nope.
The camera in this fights you so hard. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Beautiful pickup. That was nice.
Yeah. All these checkpoints, they're all predetermined, and so theoretically I should have them memorized. I don't. I only know that the second phase, they're in a line, so that's the only thing I remember. And then like with smaller like things that I've memorized about this fight, like this one reappears like that. If you read a like a speedrun route for like 101%, it'll actually like tell you like, oh, go clockwise here, and then once you get the checkpoint, go counterclockwise and all that. So like that will actually like tell you where. It doesn't actually tell you the spot because, you know, text can't describe where a specific thing is, but it's very
even having a direction on where to go for a lot of these. It's nice to know that somebody's essentially routed it out, because I just felt when I was doing it that this was random.
Yeah.
This felt completely random to me. So knowing that it isn't makes me kind of feel a little bit better. Not about my skill, but about the fact that, okay, at the very least, the information is out there somewhere.
Yeah. Alright, so now we're on the final phase. This is technically should be the hardest one, but it's not. The hardest part is just trying to find the first one. That's always the hardest part. Oh my gosh, where'd it go? It's so hidden. There it is. Alright. Oh, nice.
Oh,
launched the pufferfish right at me. That's really funny. Alright. So yep. And then this final one is just find it, and then the final one will be literally in the same spot. And so what we can do is we can launch ourselves. I got hit by the boss, so I'm not going to get the quick key, but it's okay. That's the boss defeated. He will always spawn or the key will always spawn in a specific spot. And so, like, if you saw I did a launch there, you're sometimes able to, like, launch into the key spot. And, like, not watch, like, that cutscene swim or drive to it and all that. But that's Puff Toss. So now, if I can do an out of bounds here, this would be pretty fun. Okay, yeah. That out of bounds is really difficult with Chunky. It's really easy with, like, Lanky. Basically, there's, like, a small, very small, like, part where you can stand on there, and it just allows you to clip out of bounds. But yeah. I needed DK. I went all around the tag barrel. Alright, so now we're going to be going to Jungle Japes. Keep in mind, we've done all these levels, and Jungle Japes is the first level of the game in a normal playthrough. We're literally about to get our first golden banana.
I was gonna say, we still have no bananas. We have gotten a whole bunch of keys, but no bananas. We have 3 Kongs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I watch a lot of DK randomizer, and I'm potentially going to be getting into the randomizer. Do you randomize your Donkey Kong on occasion?
I don't. I need to get into randomizer, honestly. It's such a fun thing, and the community's so awesome.
It really is. And my casual has been with the essentially with the any percent or vanilla but better. So tag anywhere, which has been
Yes.
holy heck a godsend.
Yes.
That is so good.
Tag anywhere is amazing.
amazing quality of life right there. And the other part is there's been no cutscenes. So I've actually seen more cutscenes now than I've seen in my own playthrough. And we're not seeing much in the way of cutscenes. And
we're out of bounds.
And we're out of bounds.
Yep. Yeah, that one is a really easy one in retrospect. It can be really difficult because it's like you're still being pushed out of bounds. We call it bush push because it's a bush and it pushes you out of bounds. Really easy name. But it allows us to get into the main area of jungle japes. So yeah, there's another moon kick to get out of bounds.
I love the animation of just DK floating away.
Yep.
People need me.
Alright, so now we're into this fight. This fight is very much just wait around. Just the boss will just be shooting all these little things at us. Oh, okay. That nice barrel pickup. That was a kick. So yeah, the way this fight works, we have to shoot those TNT barrels at Armadillo, and in this phase he will roll. We want to get hit at the beginning of his roll because then that just cancels out his like roll of trying to get us. So little time management, and then this phase generates a lot of lag, so I try to lag reduce here. Not always good attempts, but it's alright. So there's our second phase, and then now we have one more phase left. Again, this is all just the same. This boss is the first one in the game, so it's really easy. But yeah, this one, he shoots around 10 of those fireballs, so we just gotta, like, wait. Just waiting around, especially with this intro story where we have infinite health. So we're just waiting. Not much of a threat. And then just one more. Gonna lock our camera. A lot of lag, if you could tell. But yeah, that's Armadillo 1 complete. You're not gonna believe who we're gonna fight next as our final key. If I said Armadillo 1.
I think it's gonna be Fast Magic.
Oh gosh.
Why? Because that is a curse setting, and I had to bring it up.
wait, are you that? Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
It's a setting you can now put into the rando, and it is cursed.
Oh my gosh, that does not sound fun.
It's a choice. It's definitely, it's content. It is good to watch.
Indeed,
I
is
would not
content.
want to do that myself, but
yeah. Also, that was a void out. We use that to just a void out, like I said earlier, takes us to the beginning of the level, and so if it's like a long ways away to get to the actual entrance, we just void out, since that'll just be the easiest way. But yeah, now we're gonna be fighting Armadillo 2, because he is the boss for the 6th level, which is our final key that we need to collect. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be entering Crystal Caves, which is over here in 101% routing on Wii U before phase walks. Again, a lot of words. You would actually go into Crystal Caves first because of, or you would go into Crystal Caves and immediately leave for the reason of the way this game works in terms of like how to buy moves, because intro story glitch is banned for 101% because of multitude of reasons. And so we need to buy all the moves, and so we enter Crystal Caves because the way the game tracks when we can unlock moves is based on which level we enter. And it gives us those moves. And so if we're able to basically enter Crystal Caves, for example, which is the 6th level, that will basically give us every single move at that point.
Yeah, because it's all progressive, right? So
yeah.
if you had the final of the move, you getting everything else. Okay, I see how that works out.
Yeah. So the routing in this game is very, very, very awesome, because it's like so much thought has to go into just creating a like even like an IL, because it's like there's so many things you have to like consider. So my main category for this game is 101%, which is getting every single collectible, unfortunately. And so the route that I use actually is very similar to how the beginning of this run looked, where we collect the 5th key, we get key 2, we go into Creepy Castle, get all the Kongs, and then just go off from there. And so it saves about like a minute or so in terms of doing organic Kongs or just unlocking the Kongs normally. But yeah. So here now we have Armadillo. As you can see, he can now fly with the jetpack. I don't think we saw the cutscene, but basically the Kremlings basically gave Armadillo a massive upgrade, and so he's now able to create shockwaves and try to deal more damage to us. But again, not much of a threat if we have infinite health. So
very, very, very true.
Yeah, now what we're going to be doing is try not to miss. Since we're so far away, the camera is so bad, you can miss these shots very easily, and I have done that on multiple occasions. And it's such a
you can.
Yeah, it's also such a massive area that if like you miss so badly, like it hits a wall, that's like you basically don't even have a chance.
Other than Puff Toss, this felt like one of the largest boss arenas.
Yeah.
Now, they all are probably about the same size. I wouldn't know. I haven't looked. But just because of how much Armadillo moves around and you kind of have to move and respond, I found this one just felt giant. And then I often, in final phase, I kept missing my barrel throw because I was just not at the right angle, because angles in this game, it's an N64 game. Everybody, please do not forget that this is an N64 game, and please remember what the N64 controller was like. Please remember that.
Yep.
Oh, you are playing with... Okay, so that probably makes life a lot easier. That has been some of the issue I've had is... digital versus analog.
Yes.
My controller does not like doing the slow walk.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the tiptoe walk for certain things, and that has been very, very frustrating for me.
Yeah. Banjo-Tooie, which is a rare game as well. Actually, they came out the year after this one. There's a jiggy actually there that you have to like actually tiptoe. So that would very much be impossible with how you play.
Completely. I would love to play Banjo-Tooie. I don't think I can. I don't think I can actually do it with my controller set up at its current state.
Yeah. Alright, so that's...
That was beautiful.
So, this game has a lot of lag. This is one of the most epic deaths of a boss ever. Because look, like, oh my gosh. You can see the frame rate of how, like...
tanking.
Yeah. But, anyways, that is our final key. We are now done with this basic requirement. Now we are going to beat the final boss. And so, unlike a normal Nintendo boss like Bowser or something, the rareware bosses, so like Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, this game, the bosses are really long. This final boss is 12 minutes to 13 minutes long, because you're cycling through every Kong. Yeah. Thankfully, it's not repetitive. Each Kong has a different gimmick, and so it's somewhat fun. Somewhat is the key word. So yeah, we're now gonna be entering. Okay, I thought I was gonna take fall damage. That's the final boss area, and so now what we're gonna be doing is just another cutscene, and then we're gonna dive right into the fight. And so, the way this fight works, like I said, is 5 Kong. So the first phase will be DK, and then from there it'll cycle through the tag barrel. So DK, Diddy, Lanky, Tiny, Chunky. We end with Chunky. And so DK phase is the easiest one out of the 5 because basically we're just going to be going into like cannons and shooting at K. Rool. And then from those, I memorize all the timing. So like first phase, he punches 5 times, you shoot. And then do it from there. A lot of this fight is predetermined. So just a couple more text boxes. We're going to be introduced to this little funny area. This is where the Kremlings are basically the like hosts. And so they will be trying to stop us. And so they're going to ring this bell. Just keep note of how they keep ringing this bell at the end of each round, because it just progressively gets funnier. But yeah, now we're going to be into the actual fight. So, like I said, round 1's very easy. Just wait around, shoot the cannon. Just very simple. You may notice that this fight is pretty laggy. We can't really do much for now until the tiny phase, but those audience members actually generate a bunch of lag.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Alright, so that's our first one, and then we're just going to be going through around the entire arena to shoot. So this one, it's like 6. So right here. This next one is either 3 or 9. So here, 1, I count them, and then right as that one happens, we're able to shoot at them. Alright, and then now this last one is 7. Just like that. So yep, that's the beginning of DK phase, and we're now going to be going to Diddy phase. So the way Diddy phase works now is that we have to wait for a rocket barrel to load, and then once we have the rocket barrel, we're able to shoot down some spotlights that can fall onto K. Rool. And so having that in mind, for this first part, we just gotta wait around. He's gonna throw his glove twice, and then if I did get hit. You can get into that barrel while that is loading, but unfortunately I did get hit, so it's alright. Alright, so now we're gonna fly all the way up here. He could still hit you, so we gotta be decently careful. So hit that first spotlight. You might have noticed I hit it through the wall. Those walls that are like holding the spotlight, they're very thin, so we're able to just like shoot through them. But oh, okay, yep, yeah, perfect example of that. And also another example of sometimes the gloves are very annoying during this fight.
That's rude.
All right, so now there is a thing you can do that is honestly really precise. It's I forget the name of it, but basically, if he throws a glove and then the glove gets back to him right as you knock down a spotlight, it'll actually like override the cutscene. And so what it'll do is actually he'll walk while the spotlight is falling on him, and it'll count as one hit. And so
Ooh, okay.
It's very precise, but like ILs of the fight like do that. And so but it is hard, like I said.
No, that sounds very, very hard.
Yeah. All right. So now.
The only time we've seen Lanky Kong this entire run.
Yep. Yeah, that was also our first time seeing Diddy as well.
True.
So yeah, for the routing in these two categories or this category, I run any percent 3 Kongs, which conveniently we save the same 2 Kongs. Basically, we like they are useful in certain runs and routes, but for like some fast stuff, Tiny and Chunky are useful for the fact of Tiny could just warp to the final hideout home area with the monkey port, and then Chunky can help us escape easier without using like orange clipping, which is again RNG dependent. So that's why I do that route, because it's very much more consistent. There's some routes where you do like Chunky and then like Lanky, or just Chunky alone with DK. Some of those routes are really difficult though. So yeah, I forgot to talk about the gimmick in this boss, or this phase. Basically, we have to hit those switches with Lanky's really long arms, and then basically they spawn these barrels, and these barrels have banana peels that once they the barrels explode, those banana peels will spawn, and then since K. Rool cannot see where we actually are, we use Lanky's trombone to kind of like lure him towards us, and so we do that while he's on top of one of the peels, or in a spot where he can run towards one of the peels. So like here I would do it, and then that should theoretically make him run towards the peel. Just like that, and then that's the end of the phase. I would say that's like the second easiest phase. Alright, so now we're into Tiny Phase. Tiny Phase is very much long. This is the longest phase. This phase is 5 minutes long alone.
Oh, jeez.
There's a reason for it though. Basically, you may have noticed that there's a the timer at the beginning, that's counting down from 3 minutes. I said it's 5 minutes long, but that timer only goes through 1 minute. It'll end on like 2 minutes. The reason for that is because we're gonna be in K. Rool's shoe, shooting his toes. This game is weird. Yeah, so basically the way that works is there are 4 sub phases, you would call it, I guess. More phases, because it's, yeah. Where he's gonna do a bunch of shockwave attacks. And then once he is startled or something happens where he's like caught off guard. We're able to get into the tiny barrel, which will just make us very small, and we're able to get inside of K. Rool's shoe. And then once we're in K. Rool's shoe, we shoot his toe, going incremental, so 1, 2, 3, and then 4 shots. And then we do that every phase. So it's very long, just because we're inside of his shoe for most of it. But yeah, as you see, this is where I was talking about the lag reduction. I'm just looking up at the top of the arena to reduce lag. And then here, this is where he's gonna spawn this barrel. We're gonna get inside of it. This is actually our first time entering the barrel, so we get a tutorial. It's really funny. And now we're gonna enter the shoe. And then this is where it's just literally just focusing, trying to avoid where he's trying to hit us at. And I shoot oranges since it reduces lag, because in another unfortunate side effect of having intro story glitch is that we do, in fact, have all the moves. I said it was a good thing, but it's also a bad thing, because we actually now also have a gun upgrade called Sniper Scope. And Sniper Scope causes a lot of lag. And so, in this phase, and I just try to use oranges since they'll deal the damage that I need to deal with K. Rool, while also not having Sniper Scope in. And we need to zoom in to also reduce lag within this area itself. A lot of lag reduction strats on N64. On Wii U, all the lag I've been talking about is actually just non-existent. Yeah, that's our second phase. Alright. And again, this one is the longest one. He's going to do a bunch of shockwaves here. I believe. I'm not mistaken. Sometimes he does 2 shockwaves in the later phases, or he does 5. I honestly don't know. I just wait, and then once I hear the cue of, oh, okay, now it's time to turn small, I go. Again, this fight is very long, and so I just forget sometimes. Alright. Oh. There we go. Okay, and then all these little the hits he's doing, in routes we actually number them 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we do 1 and 2 are the safe spots, 2 is the safe spot here, just so that we know where to stand. And then do optimal orange hits or gun hits as well. Alright, so yeah, this is our final hit. We're gonna wait around here. Alright, and then we're going to get into a shoot one more time. Just like that. Alright, just wait around.
I don't like the fact that there is like a green fog of stink.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. I
Yeah.
feel very bad for Tiny.
Yeah, it's yeah. This is honestly, there's also like cobwebs in here too. Like,
oh gosh.
like it's
Rare definitely made some choices with a lot of the like imagery that they did. I love it. I love these games, but also.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's very much like ew.
Yeah.
So this is the final phase we're gonna be going to. They just completely destroyed that bell. So this is literally their last ditch effort, and you know, yeah, they ring the bell just because they broke it, and so now we're into the final phase. This phase is 2 minutes long, and the way this works is there are 4 different parts to it. First part is we have to hit that switch in the middle. Rool goes invisible for this first part of it, and so we have to just completely try to avoid him as best as we can. While these cutscenes are actually loading, you probably heard it. You heard me like take damage a lot there, because we're still taking damage in the cutscene technically, but it's not dealing actual damage, and so it's just repeatedly taking damage. But yeah, we hit that switch in the middle. We turn to Invisible Chunky. That will load a Hunky Chunky barrel that we get into, and then we turn into Hunky Chunky, and then we slam Rool across the arena, and that is one hit. A lot of steps to get one hit, but they're surprisingly quick. Yeah, here, all these are pretty much timed pretty well. You can just like use the floor honestly to like just guess on where. Usually if it's like in the middle or a bit more above. In the later phases you're just able to like hit them. But yeah, we have 2 more hits left. This one is going to be the quickest. He's basically going to run at us. There we go. And then time will be coming up very soon. This is going to be our final hit. So yeah, hit the switch one more time. Nice, I got a skid jump to get into the barrel very quickly. And time will be coming up very soon. And time.
GG.
So yeah, that was DK64, any percent all keys. As you can see, very route heavy, but very fun.
No, this is actually a very fascinating run, especially just looking at it comparatively to a casual play.
Yeah. Yeah, this category, the world record, I believe, is like 50 minutes. It's something really fast. It's also done on Wii U. I think the N64 world record's is like 56 minutes. Just shows how much Wii U saves. But yeah, I think now is a great time for this intro story glitch exhibition. So, I already explained what glitch exhibition is, but I'll go ahead and explain it one more time because it's still a very complicated glitch. Basically, intro story glitch is a glitch that is used in speedrunning, but also for very fun reasons. So we're going to be showing off those very fun reasons. And so I have 4 pre-picked out glitches. Again, the possibilities with intro story glitch are pretty much infinite. However, there are some things you can do. So first one we're going to do here, once I'm able to get the intro story. Like I said, this is kind of precise. That should work. Alright, we're going to go into a file. We're actually going to go into the same file. That, by the way, like I said with intro story glitch before, the game doesn't save. So this is actually pre all the keys we've collected. So like we have the Kongs from Castle, but we actually don't have anything after that point. I skipped it by accident. It's okay. Guess we'll see this version of it. So we'll just wait around watching the DK wrap for a bit. And then what is going to happen with this version of it is we're going to have the DK wrap while watching the intro story. And so we're going to see a bit of the actual DK wrap for a bit. But once we hit 55 seconds into the intro story timer, what will end up happening is it'll load us into a area just like that. It'll load us into here, and theoretically we still hear the DK rap music. It carries through any music that's still playing, because technically the intro story has no music other than whatever the music is at the beginning of the intro story, so we just overlap it. So that's the first glitch. So this is actually gonna be 5 of them, so now we're on our second one out of the 5. We're gonna do the same process of what we did with the intro story of enter a file, and we're gonna change to chunky, and we're gonna do a thing called game over interruption. And so once I load here, I'm gonna do it again, just like that. Nice first try. We're gonna go into a file, and I like to change to chunky for this. We're gonna quit the game again. This time I'm gonna put down my controller, not do anything. We're gonna watch this game over cutscene. What this cutscene normally does is after it loads this area, it'll load outside of Hideout Helm into the laser of Blastomatic, and it'll show the game over text, all that. However, after this loads, we'll actually be in Hideout Helm with Chunky. We can't move, we can't do anything in this state. The game over thing appears. If we press A or start, it'll load us into the main menu. But we're not going to be here for too long because this is a cutscene. This game loves cutscenes and intro story. It'll load us back into that area. Okay. Alright, so now the next 3 that we're going to do are very much timed precise. And so now I'm going to be pulling out some timers just for my own sake of doing these. So the first one we're going to be doing is a glitch where, if you know Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, the stop and swap, you might know that in Banjo-Kazooie there's actually an ice key that you can collect. And so, with that in mind, if we do the intro story, once I get it, just like that, I'm going to turn on infinite everything. We're going to load into the same file I have. What will basically happen is we're going to be loading an area that is actually a remnant of the ice key that you would stop and swap within this game as well, DK64. So we're literally loading a cutscene that is like evidence of the ice key existing in this game, or would have been if Rare was able to figure out the stop and swap. So what we're going to do now is we're going to lower ourselves to 1 health. This is the part where we're going to wait a lot. This setup takes 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and the first like 30 is just taking damage to 1 health. The other 2 minutes is just waiting around. I'll do my shoutouts now because this is just perfect timing in terms of you know, we have to wait around. Oh, okay, I just oh no. That was not supposed to happen. I took damage and died, and it loaded the cutscene. Let's try that one more time. I'll keep talking. So, I would like to give a shout out to the DK64 community, both the speedrunning one and the rando one, because the community is so awesome. We have so much documentation of this game and glitches. Like, we have glitches in our database for, like, we have a dedicated database of glitches that dates back all the way from the day of when this game released. Like, it's amazing that we're able to like have like the documentation of, oh, here is an out of bounds we found on the first day of the game coming out. And we have a bunch of other resources. We have memer boards, which just has all of the non-speedrun.com categories. So like anything you can think of, like grabbing the 3rd key as fast as possible without requirements, or grabbing a certain gold banana at as fast as possible. All like miscellaneous categories that are really fun to do. And then obviously DK Rando, very amazing community, very fun to do. I need to start getting into Rando. I would like to shout out just all my friends in voice calls that get me through running DK64 sometimes. Sometimes this game is just very brutal, especially when running something like 101% when it's 6 hours long. Just being able to...
I'm sorry?
Yeah, oh yeah, 101% for me is 6 hours long.
My. Endurance, that's impressive.
Yeah. These rare games are really long. Banjo-Tooie, which is my second game, that's 5 hours long for the 100%. Banjo-Kazooie is actually the shortest one, with it being 2 hours and like 2 hours in for me, 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's kind of shocking.
That's wild.
Yeah. I run them. I do it for fun. It's okay.
And if we wanted to find more of your runs, where would we do that? As well as, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your shout out. I just got shocked.
Yeah. No, you're all good. We still have like 40 seconds to this before we can do anything. Yeah, you can find me on twitch.tv/ad129sr. I love streaming this game. I love streaming Banjo-Tooie. I also do many other games that are either silly or just classics. If you know GeForce the movie, I speedrun that. Yeah, very goofy and silly. I also run other games such as like Mario 64, Spyro, Crash, all of the sort. So yeah, a lot of fun things. I also do music. I was here on Lady Arcaders a month and a half ago with French Horn Percent, which is just a demonstration of music and video games. So yeah, I love video games. I love music. So yeah. So now we can do this next part. We can die loading into the cutscene. We're gonna see this mysterious cutscene you never see in the game. And then it's just gonna load us into Crystal Caves, which is where the original ice key is. Like, we're in a completely weird spot, and this is where the ice key would have been. And so it's incredible that like we're able to like have a remnant that exists of something that was an idea that never became reality. Also, this is the Crystal Caves like first time entering cutscene. So yeah. All right, 2 more left. We have 2 more. So this next one, if you know the Beetle Race and how infamously hard they are, we're gonna skip one, and I'll show you how we do that. So reset my timer again, and then we're gonna do another intro story. All right. Again, a lot of cutscenes and a lot of waiting. So once we're through with this, we're gonna be actually doing stuff. Okay. Turn on story skip just in case, because you never know. Do it one more time. Just like that. And I pre-made a file for this. This file right here has everything we need to do this glitch. So we're gonna go in here. We're gonna go into Angry Aztec as fast as possible. Alright. So now, hopefully I should have the B-Locker out of the way. Perfect. Alright, so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to have to get to a specific point in this level very quickly before a certain point. A minute and 26 on the ISG timer. And so we're going to warp to all the way to this later half of the level. So I already have these warps already set out because, again, very long distance away. So yeah, we're going to go here. Alright. Kind of be careful here. And then now, like I said, we gotta wait a bit, a minute and 26 to enter this area. But yeah, you can also find me on Blue Sky, Twitter, all the sort. You can probably find Ad129 somewhere there, and you'll be able to find me. And yeah. So we're gonna enter this Trophenscoff. We're gonna get this weird little cutscene of like it like loading for the first time. I guess. We're gonna leave, and then this is the kind of precise part. We have to get to attack barrel as fast as possible and get into the Beetle Race area very quickly. And so There's conveniently one right here. We're gonna switch to Tiny. And go to the Beetle Race area. I have this already set up as well. Alright. And then here we need to use our instrument at around 210. Give or take a couple seconds. So just like that. And then now we just wait. And all I'm gonna say is, whatever you think the Beetle Race will look like, from what you remember, you don't expect that.
I am actually very excited. I hate the Beetle Race, so I am very excited to see it skipped.
Alright, just like that. Give it a second. Was I too early? Oh, okay. I guess I was a little too early. Okay, that was... Okay. Basically, I'm not going to try to do that again, because that's going to take way too long, and I want to get to the final one. The final one's the best glitch, and this one's more consistent. What was supposed to happen was, it will load us at the end of the race. The beetle will just fall out of bounds, and just decide to, like, not do anything, and just, like, fall out of bounds. And then we're just able to grab the golden banana at the end. Not useful.
Oh, that is how all beetle races should be done.
Yeah. Alright, so now we're going to do one more version. I'm going to do a couple things. All cheats, intro story, load it. Right, just like that. And then this final glitch, we're gonna load this file since this has the camera, and this is why we're gonna do a funny glitch. And then this is called end sequence glitch. And so I'm gonna wait around for a bit, around until like 35 seconds. Actually, probably 40. 40 is much better. For the end sequence to have enough time to load stuff, and then it'll load us into the intro story. You'll see how that works once we are actually within this glitch. But yeah, this has literally been intro story. Again, there are infinite possibilities. There's a YouTube channel that has a lot of documentation of what you're able to do with this glitch. Because the possibilities are basically endless with this glitch. And so, what we're going to do here is, this should load us. Right here is a fade out. We're now in the intro story. However, we're also in the credits. And so, this is not normally supposed to happen. A thing we can do is we can pull our camera out and we can take pictures. And this is what I like to call, this is the Pokemon Snap of DK64.
I love it. It's Pokemon Snap %.
It's literally Pokemon Snap.
Fantastic.
So we're just literally taking pictures of anything and everything that we're seeing. And so here it'll load. We're going to pull out our camera one more time. We're going to like just take pictures of anything. None of these pictures save, unfortunately, but because the game is not...
sad.
Yeah, but you can throw oranges in here. You can see the game actually lagging. Because of the oranges I'm throwing. You can also probably hear me taking damage. We can pull out our gun as well. We can shoot stuff. By the way, I don't know where we are in the map. We're honestly could be anywhere, and we're just also close enough where all the effects that are happening, such as like oranges and all that, are still lagging the game. But yeah, that has been DK64, and just how incredibly broken this game is.
This game is fantastically broken. Thank you so much for showing this off.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't currently have any marathons planned. However, I am going to be going to SGDQ, so if y'all want to say hi to me or anything, I will be at SGDQ. I'll be doing something. I am happy to announce now, since we are very close to planning it. I also organized a speedrun event called the 1545, which is this game plus the Banjo games plus Mario Galaxy, Mario Galaxy 2, Sunshine, and Mario 64. The original Spyro trilogy and the original Crash trilogy. All of those are a event I organized called the 1545. And I am happy to announce that at SGDQ on Tuesday around like 9 a.m. or something. It depends on when we actually start it. We're going to be attempting the first ever in-person Any Percent 1545 with me running 4 of the games. I'm running DK, Banjo-Tooie, Banjo-Kazooie, and also Spyro 1. And so, if you're going to be at SGDQ, that's something you definitely want to watch for a bit, because we're going to have we're going to have some top runners for the other games. It's going to be very awesome to watch. If you're unable to watch it, you can also go on twitch.tv/the1545. It will be streamed there as well. But yeah, that is it from me, and yeah, hope you enjoyed.
That was an amazingly fantastic showcase. I actually learned a lot, and hopefully I can finally get through some of the boss fights that have been vexing me. So thank you so much for that, Ads. I really, really appreciate that. But we are going to be taking a quick little break before we send y'all off on a raid to a friend of the stream whom we may have been just talking a little bit about. But first, get up, stretch your muscles as much as is possible for you, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a snack, perform a little bit of self-care, and we will be back in a few moments. See y'all shortly. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you got a little bit of a stretch in before we send you off on a raid over to GDQ, who we were just talking about, for some great Juneteenth celebrations. However, first, I want to tell you a little bit about next time on a track mode. Sapphire and Ink will be running Titanfall 2 all helmets for us. Tune in on Thursday, June 26th at 9 p.m. Eastern to judge all of our awesome headgear. And as always, we love to hear from you about your awesome showcases. Submissions for track mode showcases are always open. Please type !AM in chat for more information. We hope you have a fantastic time over with GDQ celebrating Black excellence. And don't forget, warning, incoming game. Warning, incoming game.